Okay, hi, my name is Tristan Hathaway, and this is my why video. Um, my real why, or my current why, is to lose weight, look better without a shirt on. Just be in better shape, be able to move around better. But my real why is because, um, well, when I've had back problems my entire life. When I was 8 years old, I jumped up to shut my grandparents' garage door, and I grabbed the metal sweeper bar and I came down and I touched the ground, but the garage didn't move and it jerked me back up, and I've had back problems since then. When I was about 11, I got whiplash in a bumper car. Uh, I was a tiny little kid and wasn't even 5 feet tall when I started high school. I'm 6'2" and over 200 pounds now, and was, well, not over 200 pounds, but I was 6'2" by the time I was a junior in high school, or less than that. I grew about a foot, or about 14 inches, in less than a year. And then I joined the Army when I was 23, and in AIT, we were doing some weird cross-legged jumping jack things, and I pulled a muscle in my back, and then I went to airborne school and did a few jumps. And on my 10th jump, I had an accident where I was about 50 feet or so off the ground, and my parachute collapsed. It was operator error, but my parachute collapsed, and I hit the ground like a refrigerator. I got a initially, my initial injury was a inverted listhesis, which is where, well, my L4 was pushed into my spinal column 3 millimeters at my L5s. So pretty significant spinal deformation. But unfortunately, anybody who's been in the military will tell you they treat symptoms, they don't treat problems, and they give you pain medicine, they give you 800 milligram Motrin, and they tell you to suck it up, drink water, and drive on. And so I did that. I did my third and fourth deployments, four deployments while I was in uniform. I did 4 more jumps, and then I left Fort Bragg and eventually was medically retired from the military. So fast forward to, this was in 2007, fast forward to 2018, day before Thanksgiving 2018, and I started getting really bad sciatica. And then over the course of the next 2 weeks, I made 3 trips to the ER, was treated like a drug chaser, and then finally got them to give me an MRI, where we discovered that I had a ruptured disc at my L4, L5. I thought I knew what pain was up to this point, and I did not. I had no idea, because I was in the worst pain I had ever been in to any point in my life, consistently, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't really work. I eventually had surgery, and I'm going to pause there for just a moment and let my ADD take over and tell you that I had previously, starting in like January 2017, I was in Afghanistan again as a contractor, because I had been medically retired from the Army in 2012. So I was in Afghanistan as a contractor, and I started losing weight, running a little bit, and I was doing DDP yoga. And then, I mean, it may have even been YRG at that point. I don't remember, but I was doing it. And then I stopped doing it. And then I would start doing it again, and then I would stop doing it over the years. And I hadn't done it for quite a while when I had my back surgery. But I had my surgery, and when I woke up, I didn't have any pain in my legs. I started bawling. And over the next few weeks of recovery, I noticed that my back really didn't bother me all that much anymore. So I started running, and I had tried before my surgery and when my back went out. I had gotten up to about 275 pounds, which is the most I had ever weighed. I've always been a relatively active person, but I've never really been a disciplined exercise person. So I about 4 weeks after my surgery, I started running. I had gotten down to about 250 before my surgery, close to it. I started jogging again. My doctor said that was okay, and shortly thereafter, I was sent with. I was deployed again for work, still as a contractor, to Abu Dhabi. And this was over the summer, and there was otherworldly heat and humidity there. And I was running, and I got down to about 200 pounds. Then I came home, and the food was good, and my family was there, and I am married with 4 kids, and the weight came back on. And then the next year, I deployed again, and the weight went off. And then I came home, and the weight went back on. And this has just been a cycle that I've done. So I would pick up the DDPY again, on and off, for X amount of time, and then something would distract me, and I'd stop doing it. And then I'm currently deployed to Japan, again, as a contractor. I'm in Okinawa, and I had the intention, as I always do when I deploy, to get into shape. And I started doing DDPY again after I'd been out here for about a month. So I started again in May. Now I took my initial progress, my initial photos and measurements and everything back in March before I left, but I didn't really start until May. But I'd been running and going to the gym and doing all sorts of things. And then something feels different about this time. I'm watching transformation videos and trying to keep myself motivated, and I'm walking everywhere. If it's not raining, I'm walking. And I do the stairs every day. I was doing the stairs in my apartment, but I've started doing the stair machine. Currently, my daily stair count is 1,333 stairs. It's about 80 floors. And I'll be doing another week of that daily, and then I will be going up to 1,666 stairs, which is about 100 floors. And I'm going to continue to do that until I get up to maybe consistently doing like an hour a day of stairs. Maybe not every day, but I'm rambling, and I apologize. To quote one of our fellow classmates, if you will, fug it. I like to talk, and I have a hard time putting my thoughts together because I am scatterbrained like you can't believe. So anyway, my like I said, when I first started rambling, my initial why is because I just want to look better, feel better, be better. I look pretty good with clothes on. I take my shirt off and I look like Fat Thor in melted ice cream. And so but the real why is because I need to be accountable. I need to stop stopping and starting. I need to get home from this trip in October and be able to maintain my diet and maintain my exercise. And I need to be present with my family because, as I said, I've got that terrible ADD, and it causes me to be very distracted at times. And I'm hoping that I can focus. Because if I can focus on this and I can continue with this, then maybe I can continue and do that. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on myself. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm taking so long. The Currently, I am doing no less than 3 sessions a day. I do a wake up in the morning and I do a stretch at night. DDPY stretch every night so far. I might change it up in a little while, but I'm not where I want to be with DDPY stretch. Then I do at least one session of at least one workout, sometimes two. It depends on what it is. I'm still doing the Beginner Plus program. I'm about almost 9 weeks in, and so I do whatever the program tells me to do, but then I add my own stuff, and so I'm doing a lot of custom workouts. I'm training for a marathon right now. I'm doing the Walt Disney World Marathon in January, so I'm running a lot. And if I do a 4th yoga session, which I generally do most days, I add no less than a level 3 workout right now. So I have a tendency to push too hard and quit, but this feels different. This I'm making some significant changes, like real changes to things that I'm doing. Going to bed at the right time, going to bed at a consistent time, getting up at a consistent time, eating better. But I manage my own food, and it reminds me of when I finally successfully quit smoking, where I tried to quit and I started, I tried to quit and I started back, and I tried to quit and I started. And then one day I didn't have any cigarettes and I didn't have any money to buy more, and I went out and I Febrezed my car and I changed the route that I drove to work, and I changed everything that I did. And I haven't had a cigarette since. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is I'm making those same significant lifestyle changes that hopefully I can maintain when I get home. So my why is just, I don't know, improvement, accountability, advice when I need it, and to be able to maintain this. Sorry for taking so much of your time, if any of you are still here. Bye.